Welcome back, Stoic Seekers. In our previous episodes, we've explored the power of perception and the importance of mastering our emotions. Now we're diving even deeper into the heart of Stoic wisdom with part 3 of our series, Awareness. Awareness is like a flashlight in the darkness, illuminating the hidden corners of our minds and revealing the true nature of our thoughts, feelings, and motivations. It's the key to unlocking our full potential, making conscious choices, and living a life that's aligned with our values and purpose. In this episode, we'll explore 10 Stoic lessons that will guide you on the path to greater self-awareness. We'll learn why understanding ourselves is the foundation of a philosophical life, how to value ourselves accurately, and why awareness is the ultimate form of freedom. We'll also delve into the importance of seeking out mentors, challenging first impressions, and embracing our own fallibility. And we'll discover how every moment, every experience, is an opportunity to practice philosophy and cultivate wisdom. So, if you're ready to embark on a journey of self-discovery, to unlock the hidden depths of your own mind, and to live a life that's more intentional, authentic, and fulfilling, then buckle up and get ready to explore the transformative power of Stoic awareness. Let's get started. Lesson 1: The Inner Compass, the Stoic Journey of Self-Discovery. All right, folks, let's kick off this exploration of Stoic awareness with a truth that might sound a bit counterintuitive. The starting point of philosophy is understanding yourself. Now, you might be thinking, hold on, isn't philosophy about big ideas, the universe, the meaning of life? And yeah, it's definitely about all that cool stuff. But the Stoics, those wise folks from ancient times, believed that you can't truly grasp those grand concepts until you've taken a good, hard look in the mirror. Think about it this way. Before you can navigate the world, you need to know where you are on the map. Before you can understand the complexities of the universe, you need to understand the complexities within your own mind and heart. The Stoics called this process knowing thyself, and they considered it the foundation of a philosophical life. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who went from being a slave to a renowned teacher, put it this way: an important place to begin in philosophy is this: a clear perception of one's own ruling principle. In other words, before you start pondering the mysteries of the cosmos or debating ethical dilemmas, you need to understand what makes you tick. What are your values? What are your fears? What motivates you? What makes you happy? The unexamined life. The ancient Greek philosopher Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." The Stoics took this idea to heart, believing that self-examination is not just a philosophical exercise, it's essential for living a good life. Without self-awareness, we're like ships sailing without a rudder, tossed about by the winds and waves of external circumstances. We react impulsively, make decisions based on fear or greed, and wonder why we're not feeling fulfilled or happy. But when we take the time to understand ourselves, to examine our thoughts, feelings, and motivations, we gain a sense of clarity and control. We can start making conscious choices that align with our values and lead us towards a more meaningful and purposeful life. The Stoic practice of introspection. So, how do you embark on this journey of self-discovery? The Stoics offered a variety of practices and techniques to cultivate self-awareness. Journaling. Write down your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Reflect on your actions and motivations. Ask yourself tough questions and be honest in your answers. Meditation. Sit quietly and observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Notice the patterns that emerge and the underlying beliefs that shape your worldview. mindful living. Pay attention to the present moment, to your bodily sensations, your thoughts, and your surroundings. This will help you become more aware of your automatic reactions and choose more intentional responses. Seeking feedback. Ask trusted friends, family members, or mentors for their honest feedback about your strengths and weaknesses. Be open to hearing their perspectives, even if it's uncomfortable. Modern-day self-discovery. In today's world, we have access to a wealth of resources to aid us in our journey of self-discovery. From therapy and coaching to personality tests and self-help books, there are countless tools available to help us understand ourselves better. But the Stoics would remind us that the most powerful tool is our own mind. It's about cultivating the habit of introspection, of asking ourselves tough questions, and of being brutally honest in our answers. The Stoic Advantage. By understanding yourself, you're not just gaining self-knowledge, you're also gaining a sense of freedom and empowerment. You're breaking free from the chains of unconscious habits, limiting beliefs, and external influences. You're becoming the master of your own destiny, the architect of your own happiness. As the contemporary Stoic philosopher Massimo Pigliucci puts it, self-knowledge is the key to wisdom and a good life. It allows us to understand our strengths and weaknesses, our values and motivations, and to make choices that are in alignment with our true nature. So, today, let's make a commitment to embark on the journey of self-discovery. Let's start asking ourselves the tough questions, exploring the depths of our own minds and hearts, and uncovering the unique gifts and talents that we have to offer the world. Remember, the unexamined life is not worth living, so let's live a life that's worth examining, a life that's filled with purpose, meaning, and the joy of self-discovery. Lesson 2. The Mirror of Self, the Stoic Art of Honest Self-Appraisal. All right, folks, let's get a little introspective today. We're talking about a concept that's crucial for personal growth and Stoic living, valuing yourself accurately. Now, this isn't about pumping yourself up with empty affirmations or falling into the trap of narcissism. It's about taking an honest look in the mirror, recognizing both your strengths and your weaknesses, and embracing the full spectrum of who you are. The Stoics believed that self-awareness is the foundation of a good life. It's about knowing your own values, motivations, and limitations, so you can make choices that align with your true nature and lead to a more fulfilling existence. As Seneca put it, above all, it is necessary for a person to have a true self-estimate, for we commonly think we can do more than we really can. In other words, we often overestimate our abilities and underestimate our weaknesses. We fall prey to the illusion of invincibility, believing we're immune to failure, setbacks, or even our own flaws. And this can lead to disappointment, frustration, and a whole lot of unnecessary suffering. The ego's blind spot. Think about those times when you've taken on too much, convinced you could handle it all, only to end up feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Or maybe you've pursued a goal that was simply unrealistic, ignoring the signs that it wasn't the right fit for you. That's the ego's blind spot in action, whispering sweet nothings in your ear and convincing you that you're capable of anything. But the Stoics would remind us that true strength lies not in denying our limitations, but in embracing them. It's about recognizing that we're all human, we all have flaws, and we all make mistakes, and that's okay. In fact, it's part of what makes us beautifully imperfect. The Stoic practice of self-examination. So, how do you cultivate this kind of honest self-appraisal? It's not always easy, especially in a culture that often equates self-worth with external achievements or validation. But the Stoics offer a few practices and principles to guide us on this journey of self-discovery. Introspection. Take time each day to reflect on your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Ask yourself tough questions. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What motivates me? What are my values? What brings me joy? What causes me pain? Seek feedback. Don't be afraid to ask for honest feedback from trusted friends, family members, or mentors. Their perspective can help you see yourself more clearly and identify areas for growth. Embrace humility. Recognize that you don't have all the answers and that there's always room for improvement. Be open to learning from your mistakes and from others. Practice self-compassion. Don't beat yourself up for your shortcomings or past mistakes. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would extend to a loved one. Modern-day self-assessment. In today's world, we have access to a wealth of tools and resources to help us on our journey of self-discovery. But the Stoics would remind us that the most important tool is our own willingness to be honest with ourselves. It's about cultivating the courage to face our flaws, to embrace our vulnerabilities, and to see ourselves as we truly are, not as we wish to be. The Stoic Advantage. By valuing yourself accurately, you're not just avoiding disappointment and frustration, you're also setting the stage for a more authentic and fulfilling life. You're building a foundation of self-respect and inner strength that can't be shaken by external circumstances or other people's opinions. As the contemporary Stoic philosopher William B. Irvine puts it, accurate self-assessment is essential for living a good life. It allows us to set realistic goals, make informed decisions, and avoid the pitfalls of overconfidence or self-doubt. So today, let's take a moment to look in the mirror, not with judgment or criticism, but with curiosity and compassion. Let's embrace the full spectrum of who we are, both the light and the shadow, and let's commit to the ongoing journey of self-discovery and growth. Remember, the Stoic life is not about achieving perfection. It's about striving for excellence, and that starts with knowing yourself truly and deeply. Lesson 3. The Integrity Equation, aligning your inner and outer worlds. All right, folks, let's talk about a concept that's crucial for not just Stoic living, but for anyone striving for a fulfilling and authentic life. Don't be divided or contradictory. Now, this might sound simple, but it's actually a profound challenge in a world that often pulls us in a million different directions. The Stoics believed that true happiness and well-being come from living a life of integrity, where our thoughts, words, and actions are in alignment. They understood that when we're internally divided, when we say one thing but do another, or when we hold conflicting beliefs, it creates a sense of dissonance and unease within us. It's like trying to drive a car with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. You're not going to get very far, and you're likely to burn out the engine in the process. Epictetus, the no-nonsense Stoic teacher, put it this way: these things don't go together. You must be a unified human being, either good or bad. You must diligently work either on your own reasoning or on things out of your control. Take great care with the inside and not what's outside, which is to say, stand with the philosopher or else with the mob. In other words, you can't have it both ways. You can't preach the virtues of honesty and integrity while engaging in shady business deals or gossiping behind people's backs. You can't claim to value inner peace while constantly chasing external validation and material possessions. You can't advocate for self-control while indulging in every impulse and temptation that comes your way. The mask of inconsistency. We all wear masks sometimes, adapting our behavior to fit different social situations or to please different people. But when those masks become a permanent fixture, when we lose sight of our true selves, it creates a sense of fragmentation and inauthenticity. It's like living a lie, and it takes a toll on our mental and emotional well-being. Think about those times when you felt like a hypocrite, saying one thing but doing another. Maybe you promised to help a friend, but then bailed at the last minute because something more fun came up. Or perhaps you've preached the importance of healthy eating, but then indulged in a late-night pizza binge. These inconsistencies create a sense of internal conflict, eroding our self-trust and making it harder to live a life of integrity. The Stoic pursuit of coherence. The Stoics believed that the key to a fulfilling life is to cultivate inner coherence, where our thoughts, words, and actions are in alignment with our values and principles. It's about being the same person in private as you are in public, and living a life that's true to your own moral compass. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect or never make mistakes. It's about striving for consistency, recognizing your inconsistencies when they arise, and making a conscious effort to correct them. It's about being honest with yourself and others, and living a life that's authentic and integrated. Modern-day examples. The social chameleon. This person changes their personality and opinions to fit in with different social groups, never revealing their true self or standing up for their own beliefs. The environmentalist who drives a gas guzzler. This person talks a big game about saving the planet, but their actions don't match their words. They might recycle and compost, but they also drive a Hummer and take frequent international flights. The fitness influencer who promotes unrealistic body standards. This person posts pictures of their perfectly sculpted physique and advocates for healthy living, but they might be secretly struggling with body image issues or disordered eating habits. The Stoic challenge. The Stoics challenge us to live a life of integrity, to be the same person on the inside as we are on the outside. They urge us to examine our own inconsistencies and contradictions, and to make a conscious effort to align our thoughts, words, and actions with our deepest values and principles. So, today, let's take a moment to reflect on our own lives. Are we living in alignment with our values? Are we being true to ourselves? Are there any areas where we're feeling divided or contradictory? If so, let's take the first step towards greater integrity by acknowledging those inconsistencies and making a commitment to change. It might not be easy, but it's the path to a more authentic, fulfilling, and stoic life. Lesson 4. The key to liberation. Awareness as the ultimate stoic freedom. All right, folks, let's dive into a concept that's at the very core of Stoic philosophy, the idea that awareness is freedom. Now, this might sound a bit abstract, maybe even a little woo-woo, but trust me, this is where the rubber meets the road when it comes to living a truly empowered and fulfilling life. The Stoics believed that true freedom doesn't come from external circumstances or possessions. It comes from mastering our inner world. It's about understanding our own minds, our emotions, our triggers, and our habitual patterns of behavior. It's about shining a light on the autopilot mode we often operate in and taking back the controls. Epictetus. Put it this way: The person is free who lives as they wish, neither compelled, nor hindered, nor limited, whose choices aren't hampered, whose desires succeed, and who don't fall into what repels them, who wishes to live in deception, tripped up, mistaken, undisciplined, complaining, in a rut. No one. These are base people who don't live as they wish, and so no base person is free. In other words, true freedom isn't about doing whatever you want, whenever you want. It's about having the self-awareness and self-discipline to make choices that are aligned with your values, your goals, and your best self. It's about breaking free from the chains of unconscious habits, knee-jerk reactions, and external influences that keep you stuck in a rut. The unconscious prison. Think about those times when you've acted impulsively, said something you regretted, or made a decision that wasn't in your best interest. In those moments, it's like you were on autopilot, reacting without thinking, driven by unconscious patterns and ingrained habits. It's like being trapped in a prison of your own making, where your choices are dictated by external triggers and internalized scripts. But the Stoics believed that we have the power to break free from this prison. By cultivating awareness, we can start to see these patterns, to understand our triggers, and to make more conscious and deliberate choices. We can become the masters of our own minds, rather than slaves to our impulses and habits. The light of awareness. Awareness is like a flashlight in the darkness, illuminating the hidden corners of our minds and revealing the truth about ourselves. It allows us to see our strengths and weaknesses, our values and motivations, and the ways in which we might be sabotaging our own happiness and well-being. It's not always a comfortable process. It can be painful to confront our own flaws and shortcomings, but the Stoics believed that this self-examination is essential for growth and transformation. As Seneca wrote, "There's no enjoying the possession of anything valuable unless one has someone to share it with." In other words, the journey of self-discovery is not a solitary one. It's about connecting with our own inner wisdom, but it's also about seeking guidance and support from others who can help us see ourselves more clearly. Modern-day examples. The mindless scroller. We've all been there, mindlessly scrolling through social media, losing hours of precious time without even realizing it. By cultivating awareness, we can recognize this pattern and make a conscious choice to put down the phone and engage in more meaningful activities. The emotional eater. This person turns to food for comfort or distraction, often without even realizing they're doing it. By becoming aware of their triggers and emotional patterns, they can start to develop healthier coping mechanisms and break free from the cycle of emotional eating. The procrastinator. This person puts off important tasks until the last minute, driven by fear, anxiety, or a lack of motivation. By becoming aware of their procrastination patterns and the underlying reasons behind them, they can develop strategies to overcome procrastination and achieve their goals. The Stoic Challenge. The Stoics challenge us to live a life of awareness, to be mindful of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. They urge us to question our assumptions, challenge our biases, and seek out diverse perspectives. And they remind us that true freedom comes not from external circumstances, but from mastering our inner world. So today, let's make a commitment to cultivate awareness in our lives. Let's pay attention to the present moment, observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment, and make conscious choices that align with our values and goals. By doing so, we can break free from the unconscious patterns that hold us back and create a life that's truly our own. Remember, awareness is the first step towards freedom. It's the key to unlocking your full potential and living a life of purpose, meaning, and joy. Lesson 5. The Freedom Trap. The subtle ways we surrender our agency. All right, folks, let's have a real heart-to-heart about something that's easy to lose sight of in the hustle and bustle of modern life: our freedom. The Stoics weren't just talking about political freedom or freedom from physical constraints. They were talking about a deeper kind of freedom, the freedom of the mind, the freedom to choose how we respond to the world around us. Epictetus put it bluntly: "He is free who lives as he wishes to live, who is neither subject to compulsion, nor to hindrance, nor to force, whose movements to action are not impeded, whose desires attain their purpose, and who does not fall into that which he would avoid." Now, that sounds pretty awesome, right? But here's the catch. It's easy to give up our freedom without even realizing it. We can become enslaved to our habits, our desires, our fears, and the opinions of others. We can let external circumstances dictate our moods and our choices, and before we know it, we're living a life that's not truly our own. The subtle shackles. Think about those times when you felt trapped or powerless. Maybe you're stuck in a job you hate, but you're afraid to leave because of the financial security. Or perhaps you're in a relationship that's no longer fulfilling, but you're afraid to be alone. Or maybe you're constantly comparing yourself to others on social media, feeling inadequate and envious of their seemingly perfect lives. These are all examples of how we can unintentionally surrender our freedom. We become attached to things that are outside of our control: money, relationships, external validation, and we let those attachments dictate our choices and our happiness. The Stoics would call this a form of slavery, a voluntary submission to external forces that rob us of our autonomy and our ability to live in accordance with our true nature. As Seneca wrote, "No slavery is more disgraceful than one which is self-imposed." The Stoic path to liberation. So how do we break free from these subtle shackles and reclaim our freedom? The Stoics offer a few powerful strategies. 1. Mindful awareness. The first step is to become aware of the ways in which we're giving up our freedom. This requires honesty and self-reflection. What are the things we're attached to that are causing us anxiety, stress, or unhappiness? What are the external influences that are shaping our choices and behaviors? 2. Internal validation. Instead of seeking validation from others, cultivate a strong sense of self-worth that comes from within. Focus on living in accordance with your values and principles, and let your actions be a reflection of your best self. 3. Detachment from outcomes. Recognize that you can't control the outcomes of your actions, only your intentions and efforts. Focus on doing what's right, what's virtuous, and let go of the need for a specific result. 4. Embrace change. The world is in a constant state of flux. Don't cling to the status quo or resist change. Embrace the impermanence of life and adapt to new circumstances with flexibility and resilience. Modern-day examples: the fear of missing out, FOMO. This drives us to constantly check social media, attend every social event, and try to keep up with the latest trends, even if it means sacrificing our own time, energy, and well-being. The keeping up with the Joneses mentality. This leads us to compare ourselves to others and strive for material possessions and external achievements, even if they don't bring us true happiness or fulfillment. The approval addiction. This compels us to seek validation and approval from others, often at the expense of our own authenticity and self-respect. The Stoic call to action. The Stoics challenge us to live a life of true freedom, where our choices are guided by reason, virtue, and a deep understanding of our own nature. They remind us that we have the power to break free from the subtle shackles that bind us and to create a life that's truly our own. So, today, let's make a commitment to examine our attachments, to cultivate inner strength, and to make choices that are aligned with our values and purpose. Let's embrace the Stoic ideal of awareness as freedom, and let's create a life that's not just about existing, but about truly living. Lesson 6. The Wisdom Whisperer, Finding Your Stoic Guide on the Side. All right, folks, let's talk about a strategy that's as old as philosophy itself. Seeking out a mentor or good role model. Now, before you start picturing a wise old sage with a long beard and a flowing robe, let's modernize this concept a bit. A mentor doesn't have to be a guru on a mountaintop. They can be anyone who embodies the qualities you admire and who's willing to share their wisdom and experience with you. The Stoics were big believers in the power of mentorship. They understood that learning from those who've walked the path before us can accelerate our own growth and development. As Seneca put it, choose someone whose way of life, as well as words, and whose very face as mirroring the character that lies behind it, have won your approval. Be always pointing him out to yourself, either as your guardian or as your model. There is a need for someone as a standard against which our characters can measure themselves. Without a ruler to do it against, you won't make the crooked straight. In other words, having a role model is like having a compass for your journey through life. They can help you navigate challenges, avoid pitfalls, and stay true to your values and goals. They can offer guidance, support, and inspiration, and they can challenge you to become the best version of yourself. The power of example. Think about the people you admire most in the world. Maybe it's a successful entrepreneur, a dedicated athlete, a compassionate humanitarian, or even a fictional character from a book or movie. What is it about them that inspires you? What qualities do they embody that you aspire to cultivate in your own life? The Stoics believed that we learn best through observation and emulation. By studying the lives and actions of those we admire, we can gain valuable insights into how to live a virtuous and fulfilling life. We can see how they handle challenges, make decisions, and navigate the complexities of human relationships, and we can use their example as a guide for our own journey. Finding your Stoic mentor. Now you might be thinking, but I don't know any Stoic sages personally. And that's okay. A mentor doesn't have to be a philosopher or a historical figure. They can be anyone who embodies the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Here are a few places to look for your Stoic guide on the side. Your inner circle. Look for people in your life who already demonstrate the qualities you admire. This could be a family member, a friend, a teacher, or a colleague. Books and biographies. Read about the lives of historical figures, philosophers, or contemporary individuals who embody Stoic principles. Their stories can offer valuable lessons and inspiration. Online communities and forums. Connect with other people who are interested in Stoicism. Share your experiences, ask questions, and learn from each other. Mentorship programs. Many organizations and companies offer formal mentorship programs. These can be a great way to connect with experienced professionals who can offer guidance and support in your career or personal development. The Stoic mentorship. The Stoic ideal of mentorship is not a one-way street. It's a mutually beneficial relationship where both the mentor and the mentee learn and grow. The mentor shares their wisdom and experience, while the mentee offers fresh perspectives and challenges the mentor to continue evolving. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "From my brother Severus I learned to love my kin, and to love truth, and to love justice." Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, was deeply influenced by his own mentors, including his adoptive father, Antoninus Pius, and the philosopher Junius Rusticus. Their guidance and example shaped his character and helped him become one of the most respected leaders in history. The modern-day mentor. In today's fast-paced world, mentorship can take many forms. It could be a formal relationship with a designated mentor, or it could be a more informal connection with someone you admire and respect. It could involve regular meetings, casual conversations, or even just following someone's work and learning from their example. The key is to find someone who inspires you, challenges you, and supports you on your journey of self-discovery and growth. And remember, mentorship is a two-way street. Be willing to offer your own insights and perspectives, and to express your gratitude for their guidance and support. The takeaway. Seeking out a mentor or good role model is a powerful way to accelerate your growth, gain clarity, and stay true to your values and goals. It's about surrounding yourself with positive influences, learning from those who've walked the path before you, and cultivating a lifelong commitment to self-improvement. So, today, let's make a conscious effort to identify the people in our lives who inspire us and embody the qualities we admire. Let's seek out their wisdom, learn from their example, and allow their guidance to illuminate our own path towards a more fulfilling and stoic life. Lesson 7. The Illusion of the Surface. The Stoic Art of Looking Beyond First Impressions. All right, folks, let's talk about something we're all guilty of from time to time. Judging a book by its cover. We meet someone new, and within seconds we've formed an opinion about them. They're friendly, they're arrogant, they're boring, they're cool. But how often are those snap judgments actually accurate? And how often do they lead us astray? The Stoics, with their emphasis on reason and critical thinking, would urge us to be wary of first impressions. They understood that appearances can be deceiving, and that it takes time and effort to truly understand someone's character and motivations. Epictetus put it bluntly. It's not easy to keep your will in agreement with nature if you are trying at the same time to please the mob. In other words, don't let the crowd's opinion sway your own judgment. Don't be so quick to jump on the bandwagon or to dismiss someone based on superficial factors. Take the time to observe, to listen, and to form your own independent assessment. The halo effect and other cognitive biases. Psychologists have a fancy term for this tendency to judge people based on first impressions. The halo effect. It's the idea that if we perceive someone as attractive or successful in one area, we tend to assume they're also positive in other areas. But this is often a cognitive bias, a shortcut our brains take to simplify the complex world around us. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who seemed incredibly charming and charismatic at first, only to discover later that they were manipulative or dishonest? Or perhaps you've dismissed someone based on their appearance or social status, only to find out later that they were intelligent, kind, and had a lot to offer. Our minds are wired to make snap judgments, but these judgments are often based on incomplete information or unconscious biases. And if we're not careful, they can lead to missed opportunities, unfair assumptions, and even harmful stereotypes. The Stoic practice of examination. So how do you avoid falling into the trap of first impressions? The Stoics would offer a few strategies. 1. Suspend judgment. When you meet someone new, resist the urge to immediately categorize or label them. Instead, approach them with an open mind and a willingness to learn. 2. Observe and listen. Pay attention to their words, their actions, and their body language. Look for patterns and inconsistencies, ask questions, and seek to understand their perspective. 3. Challenge your assumptions. Be aware of your own biases and preconceptions. Ask yourself, am I judging this person based on their appearance, their social status, or my own preconceived notions? 4. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Assume good intentions until proven otherwise. Remember that everyone has their own struggles and challenges, and that we all make mistakes. Modern-day examples. Let's bring this Stoic wisdom into the 21st century. Imagine you're interviewing candidates for a job. It's easy to be swayed by a candidate's polished resume or confident demeanor. But the Stoics would urge you to dig deeper, to ask probing questions, and to assess their skills and character beyond the surface level. Or maybe you're meeting someone new at a social event. It's tempting to judge them based on their clothes, their conversation style, or their social circle. But by practicing epoche, the suspension of judgment, you can create space for genuine connection and avoid missing out on potentially valuable relationships. The Stoic Advantage. By looking beyond first impressions, you're not just avoiding misunderstandings and prejudices. You're also opening yourself up to a world of possibilities. You're creating opportunities for deeper connections, unexpected friendships, and a more nuanced understanding of the human experience. As the contemporary Stoic philosopher Massimo Pigliucci puts it, the ability to suspend judgment is a key component of critical thinking. It allows us to avoid making hasty decisions based on incomplete information or biased perspectives. So today, let's make a conscious effort to challenge our first impressions. Let's approach each new encounter with curiosity, openness, and a willingness to see beyond the surface. By doing so, we can cultivate a more compassionate, understanding, and stoic approach to the world around us. Lesson 8. The Power of Perspective. Reframing adversity, reclaiming your power. All right, folks, let's dive into a Stoic concept that can be a real game-changer when it comes to dealing with life's curveballs. The idea that true harm comes from your own beliefs about harm. Now, I know this might sound a bit mind-bending at first, but stay with me. It's all about understanding the power of perception and how it shapes our experiences. The Stoics believed that it's not events themselves that cause us pain or suffering, but our judgments about those events. In other words, it's not the flat tire that ruins your day. It's your belief that it's a major inconvenience. It's not the critical feedback that crushes your spirit. It's your belief that it defines your worth. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor and philosopher, put it this way in his Meditations. Do away with the opinion I am harmed, and the harm is cast away too. Do away with being harmed, and harm disappears. In other words, the real source of our suffering often lies not in the external event itself, but in the story we tell ourselves about it. It's our interpretations, our judgments, our beliefs about what happened that create the emotional turmoil and pain. The mental movie. Think about it this way. Imagine your mind is a movie theater, and every experience you have is projected onto the screen. Now, you have two choices. You can watch the movie passively, letting the images and sounds wash over you and dictate your emotional response. Or you can become the director, choosing the lens through which you view the film, the soundtrack that accompanies it, and even the ending. The Stoics would argue that we have the power to be the directors of our own mental movies. We can choose how we interpret events, how we assign meaning to them, and ultimately, how we respond to them. Reframing adversity. Let's bring this Stoic wisdom to life with a few examples. Imagine you lose your job. Your initial reaction might be devastation, fear, and a sense of worthlessness. You might tell yourself, "I'm a failure. I'll never find another job. My life is over." These judgments create a mental movie filled with darkness and despair. But what if you reframe the situation? What if you see this job loss as an opportunity to pursue a new career path, to learn new skills, or to spend more time with your family? What if you tell yourself, "This is a setback, but it's not the end of the world. I'm resilient, I'm resourceful, and I'll find a way to bounce back"? Suddenly, the same event takes on a completely different meaning, and your mental movie becomes one of hope, resilience, and possibility. Or maybe you're going through a breakup. Your initial judgment might be, "I'm unlovable. I'll never find happiness again. This is all my fault." This judgment creates a mental movie filled with heartbreak and self-blame. But what if you reframe the situation? What if you see this breakup as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery? What if you tell yourself, "This relationship wasn't serving me anymore. I deserve to be with someone who loves and respects me fully. I'm strong, I'm worthy, and I'll find love again"? Suddenly the same event takes on a new meaning, and your mental movie becomes one of empowerment and self-love. The Stoic Advantage. By understanding that true harm comes from our own beliefs about harm, we're not just managing our emotions, we're also reclaiming our power. We're recognizing that we have the ability to choose our own narratives, to reframe adversity, and to find meaning and growth even in the most challenging situations. As the contemporary Stoic philosopher Donald Robertson puts it, the Stoics believed that we have far more control over our own happiness than we tend to assume. By changing our beliefs and attitudes, we can transform our experience of life. So, today, let's make a conscious effort to examine our judgments and beliefs. Let's challenge the negative stories we tell ourselves and reframe our experiences in a more empowering and optimistic light. Let's become the directors of our own mental movies, creating narratives that inspire us, uplift us, and lead us towards a more fulfilling and joyful life. Remember, the power to shape your reality lies within you. Choose your thoughts wisely, and you'll choose your destiny. Lesson 9. The Beauty of Being Wrong. The Stoics' Embrace of Fallibility. All right, folks, let's talk about something that most of us dread: being wrong. We live in a world that often equates being wrong with failure, stupidity, or even a moral failing. We're taught from a young age to strive for perfection, to have all the answers, and to never admit when we're mistaken. But what if I told you that the Stoics, those wise philosophers from ancient times, saw things a bit differently? The Stoics embraced the idea of fallibility, recognizing that we're all human, we all make mistakes, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, they saw being wrong as an opportunity for growth, learning, and ultimately, a deeper understanding of the world and ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, put it this way in his Meditations: If anyone can prove and show to me that I think and act in error, I will gladly change it. For I seek the truth, by which no one has ever been harmed. The one who is harmed is the one who abides in deceit and ignorance. In other words, being wrong isn't the problem. Clinging to falsehood and ignorance is. The Stoics believed that the pursuit of truth is a lifelong journey, and that we should always be open to revising our beliefs and opinions in light of new evidence or better reasoning. The ego's fragile armor. Now, let's be real. It's not easy to admit when we're wrong. Our egos are fragile things, and we often build up defenses to protect them from the perceived threat of being seen as flawed or incompetent. We might dig in our heels, double down on our beliefs, or even lash out at those who challenge us. Think about those times when you've been in an argument and refused to budge, even when presented with evidence that contradicted your position. Or maybe you've made a mistake at work and tried to cover it up, rather than owning up to it and learning from it. That's the ego's fragile armor at work, protecting us from the perceived shame of being wrong. But the Stoics would argue that this armor is actually a hindrance, not a help. It prevents us from growing, learning, and evolving. It keeps us stuck in our own limited perspectives and prevents us from seeing the bigger picture. The Stoic approach to fallibility. So how do we break free from the fear of being wrong and embrace the opportunity for growth? The Stoics offer a few strategies. 1. Cultivate intellectual humility. Recognize that you don't have all the answers and that there's always more to learn. Be open to new ideas, different perspectives, and the possibility that you might be wrong. 2. Seek out feedback. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback from others, even if it's critical. See it as an opportunity to gain valuable insights and improve yourself. 3. Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. When you do make a mistake, don't beat yourself up about it. Instead, see it as a chance to learn and grow. Analyze what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and how you can avoid making the same mistake in the future. 4th, practice the Socratic method. Engage in thoughtful dialogue and debate with others. Ask questions, challenge assumptions, and be willing to have your own beliefs challenged in return. Modern-day examples. The always right friend. We all know that person who always has to be right, even if it means twisting the facts or ignoring evidence to the contrary. Their fear of being wrong prevents them from learning and growing, and it can damage their relationships with others. The perfectionist student. This student is so afraid of making mistakes that they become paralyzed by fear and procrastination. They might spend hours agonizing over every detail of an assignment, but they never actually finish it because it's not perfect. The defensive employee. This employee reacts defensively to any feedback or criticism, seeing it as a personal attack rather than an opportunity for improvement. Their fear of being wrong prevents them from taking ownership of their mistakes and learning from them. The Stoic Advantage. By embracing fallibility, you're not just becoming a more open-minded and adaptable person, you're also cultivating a sense of inner peace and resilience that can't be shaken by external judgments or setbacks. You're freeing yourself from the tyranny of perfectionism and embracing the messy, beautiful process of growth and learning. As the contemporary Stoic philosopher Ryan Holiday puts it, ego is the enemy. The more we cling to our own righteousness, the harder it is to learn and grow. So today, let's make a commitment to let go of the fear of being wrong. Let's embrace our mistakes, seek out feedback, and cultivate a mindset of intellectual humility. By doing so, we can unlock our full potential, build stronger relationships, and live a life that's truly fulfilling and wise. Lesson 10. The Stoics' Training Ground, Turning Everyday Life into a Philosophical Dojo. All right, folks, let's wrap up this exploration of Stoic awareness with a concept that's both empowering and a bit of a challenge. Everything is an opportunity to practice philosophy. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Oh great, another self-help cliché," hear me out. The Stoics weren't just talking about sitting on a mountaintop pondering the meaning of life, although that can be cool too. They were talking about something much more practical and down to earth. The Stoics believed that philosophy wasn't just an intellectual pursuit. It was a way of life. It wasn't something you did in your spare time or only when you were facing a crisis. It was something you lived every single day, in every interaction, in every challenge, in every moment. Musonius Rufus, a Stoic teacher who was known for his practical approach to philosophy, put it this way: "If you accomplish some good, though it be ever so little, do not disdain it, but be encouraged thereby to do more." In other words, don't wait for the perfect opportunity to practice philosophy. Don't wait for a life-changing event or a deep existential crisis. Start small, start now, and see every moment as a chance to cultivate wisdom, virtue, and inner strength. The Everyday Dojo. Think of your life as a dojo, a training ground for your mind and soul. Every encounter, every obstacle, every joy, every frustration is an opportunity to practice the Stoic principles we've been exploring. Stuck in traffic? That's a chance to practice patience and acceptance. Dealing with a difficult co-worker? That's a chance to practice compassion and understanding. Facing a setback or failure? That's a chance to practice resilience and perseverance. Celebrating a success or achievement? That's a chance to practice gratitude and humility. The Stoics saw the world as a classroom and every experience as a lesson. They didn't shy away from challenges. They embraced them as opportunities to test their principles and strengthen their character. The Stoic mindset. This doesn't mean you have to go around analyzing every little thing that happens to you. It's more about cultivating a mindset, a way of being in the world that's grounded in Stoic principles. Mindfulness. Pay attention to the present moment, to your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Notice how you're responding to the world around you and whether your responses are aligned with your values and goals. Reflection. Take time each day to reflect on your experiences. What lessons can you learn from them? How can you apply those lessons to future situations? Intentionality. Approach each task, each interaction with a sense of purpose and intentionality. Ask yourself, what is the right thing to do in this situation? How can I act in a way that's virtuous and beneficial to myself and others? Modern-day applications. Let's bring this Stoic wisdom into the 21st century. Imagine you're waiting in a long line at the grocery store. Instead of getting frustrated and impatient, you can use that time to practice mindfulness, to observe your surroundings, or to simply be present in the moment. Or maybe you're having a disagreement with a loved one. Instead of reacting with anger or defensiveness, you can use that as an opportunity to practice empathy, to try to understand their perspective, and to communicate your own needs and feelings in a calm and respectful way. The Stoic Advantage. By seeing everything as an opportunity to practice philosophy, you're not just making the most of your experiences, you're also transforming your life into a continuous journey of growth and self-improvement. You're cultivating the wisdom, resilience, and inner strength to navigate any challenge that comes your way. As the contemporary Stoic philosopher Ryan Holiday puts it, the obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve our condition. So today, let's embrace the Stoic challenge. Let's see every moment, every experience, as a chance to practice philosophy and become the best version of ourselves. Let's turn our everyday lives into a philosophical dojo where we can train our minds, strengthen our character, and cultivate the wisdom and virtue that lead to a truly fulfilling life. And there you have it, folks. We've journeyed through the Stoic realm of awareness, exploring 10 powerful lessons on how to cultivate self-knowledge, embrace our true nature, and live a more intentional and fulfilling life. Remember, the Stoics weren't just about intellectual pondering, they were about practical wisdom and taking action in the world. They understood that true freedom comes from understanding ourselves, aligning our thoughts, words, and actions, and embracing every experience as an opportunity for growth and learning. So, as we wrap up this third episode in our Stoic series, I encourage you to reflect on these lessons and start applying them to your own life. Take time for introspection, seek out mentors, challenge your assumptions, and embrace your fallibility. Remember, the journey of self-discovery is a lifelong process, and every step you take brings you closer to a more authentic, empowered, and Stoic life. Join us next time as we delve into the fourth part of our series, focusing on the power of unbiased thought and how to cultivate a clear and objective mind. Until then, keep those Stoic vibes high, and remember, the key to a fulfilling life lies not in external circumstances, but in the wisdom and awareness that you cultivate within.